In the shadowed corners of Soviet history, where the Iron Curtain hid unimaginable horrors, one man's name echoes with chilling infamy: Andrei Romanovich Chikatilo. Known as the Butcher of Rostov, the Red Ripper, or the Rostov Ripper, Chikatilo was not just a murderer. He was a predator who stalked the vulnerable, leaving a trail of devastation that exposed the flaws in a crumbling empire. Over a dozen years, from 1978 to 1990, he confessed to 56 murders. Though convicted of 52, his victims, mostly young women, children, and teenagers, lured into isolation, subjected to unspeakable violence, mutilation, and in some cases, cannibalism. This is the true story of Andrei Chikatilo, a tale of childhood trauma, sexual dysfunction, societal denial, and a flawed justice system that allowed evil to flourish unchecked. It is not intended to glorify, romanticize, or make him seem attractive in any way. Serial killers like Chikatilo caused immense suffering to victims and their families, and this content focuses solely on the facts of the case, the investigation, and the tragic consequences to raise awareness about real events and the importance of justice. Viewer discretion is advised. The details ahead are graphic and disturbing. Born on October 16, 1936, in the village of Yablykny, in what was then the Ukrainian SSR, Chikatilo entered a world ravaged by famine and war. The Holodomor, Stalin's man-made famine of 1930 to 1933, had decimated Ukraine, claiming millions of lives. Chikatilo's mother, Anna, would later tell him horrifying stories of cannibalism during those desperate times tales that may have planted seeds of darkness in his young mind.
Меня все время предупреждала, не выходи со двора, товарищ Степана сели, тебя сидят. Вот я в бурьяне там калачики ел, этим питался, и мать это зари до зари.
The family lived in abject poverty, sharing a single-room hut with no plumbing or electricity. Andrei was a frail child, bedwetting into his teens and suffering from hydrocephalus, a condition that caused headaches and vision problems. World War II brought more terror. When Nazi forces invaded in 1941, Chikatilo's father, Roman, was drafted into the Red Army, captured, and imprisoned in a POW camp. Upon his return in 1944, he was branded a traitor by Soviet authorities and sent to a labor camp, leaving the family ostracized. Young Andrei was bullied relentlessly at school, called weak, effeminate, a faggot by peers. He discovered early on that he was impotent, unable to achieve erection, which deepened his isolation and shame. In adolescence, he attempted to assault a girl, failing miserably and earning more ridicule. These formative years forged a man consumed by inadequacy, rage, and twisted fantasies. Chikatilo's adult life began with promise, but quickly unraveled. He served in the Soviet Army as a communications specialist, then pursued education, earning degrees in Russian literature and engineering. In 1963, he married Fyana Odnisheva, arranged through his sister. Despite his impotence, they had two children, Ludmila in 1965 and Yuri in 1969, conceived through manual stimulation. The family moved frequently due to Chikatilo's teaching jobs, but scandals followed. In 1970, while working at a boarding school in Novoshakhtinsk, he was accused of molesting students, groping boys in their sleep. Fired but not prosecuted, he bounced between schools, his predatory behavior escalating. By 1978, Chikatilo's inner demons erupted into murder. Now 42, working as a supply clerk in Shakhty, he lured 9-year-old Yelena Zakudnova from a bus stop on December 22nd, promising her chewing gum. A rare treat in the Soviet Union, he took her to a rundown shack he secretly owned. There, in a frenzy of sexual frustration, he attempted to rape her but couldn't. Enraged, he stabbed her repeatedly, strangling her as her blood excited him to climax. He dumped her body in the Groshevka River, where it was found 2 days later. Suspicion fell on Chikatilo briefly, A neighbor saw him with the girl, but a coerced confession from another man, Aleksandr Kravchenko, sealed the wrong fate. Kravchenko, with a prior rape conviction, was executed in 1983 for a crime he didn't commit. Chikatilo walked free, his first kill igniting insatiable hunger. For the next 3 years, Chikatilo restrained himself, but the urges built. In September 1981, he struck again, murdering 17-year-old Larisa Kachunko in a forest near Shakhty. He beat her, bit off her nipples, and stuffed her mouth with dirt to silence her screams. This kill marked the beginning of his signature brutality, luring victims from train stations, bus stops, or isolated areas with promises of food, shortcuts, or jobs. He targeted the marginalized runaways, prostitutes, the mentally disabled, those society overlooked. His modus operandi involved stabbing, often in the eyes to avoid their gaze, mutilating genitals, and sometimes removing organs like uteruses or testicles, which he would chew or swallow. Psychologists later theorized this stemmed from his impotence. Violence became his path to arousal. The murders accelerated. In 1982, he killed 13-year-old Lybov Biryuk, stabbed 22 times, and others, their remains scattered in forests and fields around Rostov-on-Don. By 1983, 8 more fell victim. Chikatilo's job as a traveling procurement officer gave him cover, allowing him to roam the Rostov Oblast, Ukraine, and even Uzbekistan. He preyed on both sexes, but patterns emerged. Females were sexually assaulted and mutilated. Males often emasculated. The Soviet authorities, bound by ideology, denied the existence of serial killers, a Western decadence. Murders were treated as isolated incidents. Investigations hampered by bureaucracy and incompetence. Lead investigator Viktor Burakov, a forensic expert with the Rostov militia, pieced together the pattern by 1983, dubbing the case Lesopolosa, or forest strip killings, due to the wooded dump sites. Over 1,000 officers were involved at its peak, but false leads abounded. They arrested over 25,000 people for unrelated crimes, even executing innocents like Kravchenko. Semen and blood evidence pointed to type AB, but Chikatilo's blood was type A, a rare non-sequitur anomaly that mismatched saliva samples. Allowing him to slip through Netstat in 1984, the killings peaked with 15 victims. Chikatilo was detained briefly in September at Rostov train station for suspicious behavior, his briefcase containing a knife, rope, and Vaseline. Questioned about prior molestation arrests, he was released when blood tests didn't match. Days later, he murdered railway attendant Tatyana Petrosian and her 10-year-old daughter Svetlana in his own home, dismembering them. The pace slowed in 1985 after Burakov consulted psychiatrist Aleksandr Bukhanovsky, who profiled the killer as a necrosadist, a man in his 40s-50s, impotent with a facade of normalcy. Bukhanovsky's 65-page profile was eerily accurate, describing Chikatilo's childhood trauma and fetish for violence. As the Soviet Union teetered under Gorbachev's perestroika, the investigation intensified. By 1986, surveillance at train stations began. Chikatilo killed sporadically 6 in 1985, then fewer as pressure mounted. But in 1990, with the empire crumbling, he rampaged again, claiming 6 victims. His last, 16-year-old Viktor, on November 6th, near a remote station. On November 13th, an officer spotted Chikatilo emerging from woods with blood on his cheek and finger. Noted but not arrested, this lead proved crucial. Arrested on November 20th, 1990, Chikatilo initially denied everything during 10 days of interrogation. Enter Bukhanovsky, who read his profile aloud. Chikatilo broke, weeping as he confessed to 56 murders, detailing each with chilling precision. He led police to undiscovered bodies, proving his guilt. Psychiatric evaluations deemed him sane but sadistic, driven by urges he called the beast inside. The trial began April 14, 1992, in Rostov. Chikatilo was caged in a glass enclosure to shield him from furious relatives. He ranted incoherently, exposing himself, claiming he was pregnant or radiated. Prosecutors presented mountains of evidence: knives, victim belongings, his confessions. On October 15, 1992, he was convicted of 52 murders and sentenced to death. Appeals failed, and on February 14, 1994, Andrei Chikatilo was executed by a single gunshot to the head in Novosibirsk prison. His last words: "Don't blow my brains out, the Japanese want to buy them." Chikatilo's reign of terror exposed the Soviet system's rot, denial of crime, inefficient policing, and suppression of truth. Over 50 lives lost, families shattered. Yet, his story endures as a cautionary tale of how evil hides in plain sight, fueled by unchecked pain. In the end, the Butcher of Rostov was not a monster from folklore, but a product of a broken world, one that failed to see the darkness until it was too late.